Good evening, everyone. Can I please have a motion and a second to reconvene the public meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our servicemen and women?
Can we also add a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, given what had just happened? Would like to do that as well.
Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can the district clerk please call the roll?
Marisol Mallon, President.
Here.
April Antelli, Vice President.
Present.
Jacqueline DiLorenzo, Trustee.
Present.
Sarah Parisi, Trustee. Yes. Melissa Torregrossa, Trustee. Michael Abraham, Student Board Member.
Here.
Dr. Joseph Senamore, Superintendent.
Here.
Reza Kolahifer, Assistant Sup for Admin and Personnel.
Ciao.
Robert Hauser, Assistant Sup for Business and Operations.
Present.
Christina Poppy, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the September 2nd, 2025 meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any ORBA in the house? SEPTA, PTA Council? All right, I will now open the floor for the first open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with Policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Number 1.
Good evening. I want to thank the board and the superintendent for lowering the flags at half-mast in honor of Charlie Kirk. I'm sure a lot of us feel is greatly appreciated. I'm going to read the mission statement of Connect One. And develop potential in an environment of dignity and respect. Dignity and respect. Along with the tributes that we saw for Charlie Kirk throughout the world, and they were very touching, there was quite a bit of ugly vitriol on all platforms of social media. You have the right to say what, and fortunately, there's been quick responses, people that were fired from their jobs and businesses, and even in the education field, there were teachers and employees of school districts that were also fired as a result of some of the vitriol that they put on their social media platforms. Now, you have the right to say what you want, but you don't have the right to be employed if what you're saying is contrary to mission principles. So what I would like to see happen, and I'm not going to go into any ugly details, I would like the district to send a letter to every employee in the district emphasizing the dignity and respect that everyone employed by the district should have, and also let them know that even though that's your own social media account, you do represent the district, like it or not. So is that something that can happen?
Each year, expectations with staff are reviewed. They also go through various trainings as well from human resources, student services. So, staff understand the expectation. All staff understand.
So is that a yes or a no? Because I didn't hear all
I
of it.
understand you're requesting that we put a communication out.
Right.
We'll take it under advisement.
Well, if anything, it might nip a potential problem in the bud if you just come out ahead of this and state it, say it. Because you know what, it needs to stop somewhere, and you might as well start here. So whatever could be done, we'd be greatly appreciated, and it should happen in a timely manner.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Okay. Can I please have, okay, we're doing these individually. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the second reading for policy 5151, education of homeless children and unaccompanied youth?
Motion. Second.
Does anybody have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roll call. So Ms. Parisi? You're a no?
Yeah, this is number 2, adoption of second reading?
Yes, for the education of homeless children and unaccompanied youth.
No, I have to really, oh, sorry. I can't approve it, I have to go through it first,
That's
so.
fine. Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Torgrosa?
Yes.
Ms. Iannatelli?
Yes.
I am a yes. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the second reading for policy 5151R, homeless children and unaccompanied youth?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Ms. Parisi?
Same reason, no.
Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Torgrosa?
Yes.
Ms. Iannatelli?
Yes.
I am a yes. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the second reading for policy 1120, school district records? Motion.
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, could someone explain that to me, the school district records specific? What is that specifically? Because I thought it was something else that I was told.
The first readings last week, and Anthony did answer a lot of the questions on these.
That's what I'm
The
saying,
policies.
like, I was under the impression, maybe I'm just getting a different letter, 112 KB versus, that's what I'm saying. What is that one specific to? When you say school records, is it? Is it specific to foiling and?
It talks about freedom of information, retention, destruction of records. Could be about employee notification of record request, litigations.
Okay,
Right. So, Ms. Parisi, how do you vote?
no.
Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Torgrosa?
Yes.
Ms. Iannatelli?
Yes.
I am a yes. Can I please call for a motion and a second to approve policy 1120R, school district records?
Motion. Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, again, is that the same thing?
It's more about it's the designation of the the officers for record requests, the definition of what a record is. It's just a
Okay,
regulation.
okay, I have questions. No, that's it.
So, Ms.
Okay.
Parisi, you're a no?
Yep.
Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Torgrosa?
Yes.
Ms. Iannatelli? I'm a yes. Can I please call for a motion and a second to approve policy 5580, vending machines?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Ms. Parisi?
Yes. No, no questions.
But no questions, you're a yes, right? Okay. Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Torgrosa?
Yes.
Ms. Iannatelli?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Can I please call for a motion and a second to approve the second reading and immediate adoption of policy 0115E.1? Exhibit. It's an
Motion.
exhibit policy.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Ms. Parisi,
Yes.
Ms. DiLorenzo,
Yes.
Ms. Torgrosa,
Yes.
Ms. Iannatelli,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's report for July 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wait, you're a no on that one too?
No.
Oh, okay. So Sarah's a no and the other four are yes. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the overtime reports for July 1st, 2025 through July 31st, 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on that?
Yeah. So I want to explain, I don't want to stop someone getting paid their overtime, but I want to know how they're going about getting the overtime, and do you know what I'm saying? Like I want some sort of idea of how each area, unit and or area are determining overtime. You see what I'm saying? Like very specific to transportation. So that's it. So I have to vote no on that.
And Sarah, just so I understand, you just want transportation.
No, ultimately, I'd like to know how overtime is determined, okay? So no, but at this moment in time, yes, transportation, but I'd like to know how all units, how it's determined.
I will get to that.
So Ms. Parisi, you are a no.
I'm a no.
Ms. DiLorenzo,
Yes.
Ms. Torgrosa,
Yes.
Ms. Iannatelli, yes. And I am a yes. I'm sorry, it's been a very long day. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the claims auditor reports?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Ms. Parisi?
Yeah, I have to go back on the report that was given to us, so my answer is no until I have some explanation about certain things, so the answer is no to that.
Okay. Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Torgrosa?
Yes.
Ms. Iannatelli?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the instructional and non-instructional personnel items as presented?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion? Ms. Parisi, you had consent agendas that you wanted to pull, is that correct or no?
So,
Or you just had questions? Because if you just had questions,
just a
I'll
couple of
okay.
questions. It's
Can I
not,
call for a motion and a second
and
to?
actually, no, I'm sorry, I do. I want to say it's K, number 4, girls varsity cheerleading UCA Keystone Regional Competition Trip.
All right, you want to
just-
pull that one?
Yeah,
Okay, so can I call for a motion and a second to approve items 2, 3, and 5 through 15?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on?
oh wait, I'm sorry, one more, one more, number 5 too. Has to be pulled.
Can I
so
call for
4
a
and
motion
5.
and a second to approve 2, 3, 6 through 15 from the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on those? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please call for a motion and a second to approve item number 4, girls varsity cheerleading regional competition trip?
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions. Now my answer is yes, I'm going to vote for this. But I've been hearing some things that are a little concerning to me, about kids kind of being pressured into buying, and I don't know if it's true. I want to have this rectified or explained to me. Kids expecting to get new outfits for practice, a different outfit every day. There are some kids that just can't afford it. Fundraising, not fundraising. I've given over a lot of money in avenues of this, and I don't mind doing that, okay? But because they want to look a certain way, to expect a kid who genuinely can't afford it, having to buy a different outfit to work out, essentially to practice in, a different outfit every day, is a little bit of an issue. So I'd like some clarification on that. Having said that, I'm voting yes on this because I think it's wonderful. I want them to go away. Okay?
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, these kids are having to get a new outfit for essentially practice. And it's not just the outfit that they're going to be competing in. So-
I am gonna back you on that one, Sarah, that 100%, I don't think any child in a public school who joins any sport should be obligated to spend money of their own on something that is needed for practice. So I 100% support that we shouldn't be asking the children to buy special outfits for practice, special outfits
It's
for
not out,
anything.
it's, from what I understand, April, it's not an out
They
and
want a
out,
match.
you must
They
do
want a
it, but
match.
it's a make sure that they get this outfit because
My own daughter
without
participated.
actually saying they have to, the pressure is on.
I'm gonna have to agree with you girls that it is not okay, especially because the district gives them uniforms. So, and not everybody has the means to purchase extra, and I
Certainly
have
not
to
an
not.
outfit per day.
I am definitely okay with them going on the trip, which
Yeah.
in and of itself is also expensive because they have to come out of pocket for
Very.
that. But it's not okay to ask them
That
to
pressure
come
put
out of
on
pocket for
looking a
extra
certain, I get
uniforms.
that other schools have, you know, the same different workout outfit for each day, makes them look a certain way. I get the pressure. I don't believe we should be acquiescing to that pressure. And it's disheartening that some of these kids can't afford it, okay, and are struggling to do that.
Agreed.
So,
We will review the concern with the athletic department.
okay.
Ms. Parisi,
Yes.
Ms. DiLorenzo,
Yes.
Ms. Chiragrosa.
Yes, and when you review, can you please get back to us with what they tell you about that?
Yes, I will provide the board with an update.
Ms. Sinatelli.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Can I please have a motion to approve item number 5, 2022 bond change order recommendation for PTS General Construction LLC, PO number 260722, contract number 1, NICED number 58050706 0007 046, Connecticut High School roof replacement.
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, Cyril, I have to vote no on that until I get the information on it. I just, wasn't this allotted for? Why are we changing? Just 1,000 different things.
So Mr. Allen can answer that question now.
So a lot of the capital
I'm
projects.
just going to ask everybody to turn their mics off so that the public mic can be louder.
So a lot of the capital projects that we do, depending on the large scope of them, has an allowance in case there's unforeseen problems. In the case of the roofing contract we're looking at right now, there was a $50,000 allowance. It was for the second phase of the high school. That was not used at all. So what that is actually returning the money from that allowance to the district.
So you're not asking for money?
Not asking for money at all. It's just a formality in order to do the proper closeout for the documentations for the capital.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Ms. Parisi?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Chiragrosa?
Yes.
Ms. Sinatelli?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Superintendent update, Dr. Centimore.
Thank you. So we start out with some academic things. So this year, the state of New York is issuing new Regents exams in 4 subjects: Algebra 2, Chemistry, ELA, and Physics. Students will take the new Algebra 2 Regents on June 10th, the end of the year. The state can prepare a school conversion and release it to the districts later in the month, around June 26th. This is the third of 3 changes to Regents exams in mathematics. The geometry exam was new last June, and Algebra 1 was new the previous June of 24. While the old Algebra 2 Regents will be available for students to take in January, they will not be finished with the course curriculum at that point in the school year, so they would have been at a disadvantage if we would have chosen that path. Based upon our experiences with last year's and last June's new Earth and Space Sciences, as well as Life Sciences Biology Regents exams, and because the state allows for the continued administration of the old physical setting chemistry, physical setting physics Regents exams in this upcoming June of 26, we will wait another year for those before requiring students to take new Regents exams in both of those subject areas. Finally, our 11th grade students will take the old Regents exam in English ELA this January of 26, as opposed to taking the new Regents exam that will debut in June. Like the Algebra 2 exam, the state is discontinuing the administration of the old exam in school. However, unlike the Algebra 2, which is a very discrete course, our students have been preparing for the Regents exam in LA since their freshman year. It is an assessment that addresses reading and writing skill sets that are developed over years, not within a single year. Typically, our passing and mastery rates for this exam are very strong. Unfortunately, the state has not provided a preview of any aspect of the new assessment, and we feel that this option of the older exam in middle of the year provides more of an opportunity for our students to meet with success for this graduation requirement, and they will be prepared to do well in this exam. So that's kind of, and there'll be a test on all these Regents updates. In terms of the this upcoming Regents exam in January for the ELA, that communication has gone out to families so that they are aware. In terms of elementary and middle school level and our growth diagnostics, so this month, students in grades 1 through 5 will complete iReady diagnostic assessments in ELA and mathematics, followed by our kindergartners and the middle school students in grades 6 through 8. They'll do theirs in October. The iReady diagnostic assessment is offered 3 times per year in grades K-5 and twice per year in grades 6-8. It provides valuable data to support instructional planning and measure students' academic growth. This year, the district also looks to offer iReady parent reports via the eSchool parental portal. I'm also happy and very proud to announce that one of our high school students, Junior Zaire Habib, was selected as a finalist in the 2025 JYEM research competition for his work on the medical AI chat box he developed to engage with patients in a digital medical setting, assisting with generating a diagnosis. This is a highly selective competition, just under 1,400 applicants. All right. JYM is organized by students and alumni from Harvard, Yale, MIT, Cornell, and other institutions. Congratulations to Zaire. Very, very proud. It's important that we, maintain the focus on the bread and butter of a school district, which is our student learning and our instructional practices. I want to thank all of our schools, our staff, the students themselves, our various parental organizations, our first responders and military personnel who all collaborated on some really wonderful work last week commemorating September 11th, and that message of remembrance, appreciation, service, support, kindness, collaboration, and unity. All right. Our student ex officio will speak soon about the experience today at the high school. So I'll let him speak to that in a moment. For our families and staff observing the Rosh Hashanah holiday, have a nice holiday and a good year. Upcoming Saturday, September 27th, is Community Wellness Day at the Public Library. It's become a true hallmark event for our community from 11 to 2 p.m. As always, we thank you to all of our parental organizations, the various PTAs, SEPTA, ORBA, who are music and art boosters, the athletic boosters, and a big thank you to all of our civics and Rotary. And Mr. Allen had just given us a nice explanation on a bond matter, but perhaps you could also give us an update on the pool renovation. We're all very excited to hear about that. But then if you could also segue for the board the pool scoreboard, and so we can get some guidance from the board moving forward.
Sure, thank you. So tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we're anticipating passing the Department of Health inspection. I will be leaving the board meeting tonight to walk the space to make sure that we are ready for that. If we get that approval, which I'm fully expecting, we will be able to start using the pool immediately. I've already talked with athletics. We're going to hold off phys ed for another week so we can do the punch list items. That way the swim team, though, will be able to start practicing and be ready for their meets. And actually, next week, we're looking at doing a ribbon cutting ceremony on the 26th. So pretty exciting. It has been a challenge to get to this point, but I think when everybody sees the final product, they're going to be impressed because it really came out. It doesn't look like a 60-year-old pool anymore. It really is impressive. So the piece we're giving the scoreboard. When we go into these projects, we get a set of plans. You know, in the case of the pool, it was probably a set of 40 plans. A number of people look at those plans. They're designed by the architect. I have comments on them. Administrators have comments on them. And, you know, we're all looking to make sure that we have the best possible product for the programs and for the kids as they go forward. We installed the scoreboard a couple weeks ago, and the scoreboard is woefully undersized for the space and the type of renovations that we did. It's about 4 by 4 by 6. So I've asked the contractor if they could provide us with different options. The options are pricey. There's no two ways about it. They will let us maintain the one that we have in place and use it until a new one comes in, which would be about 6 to 8 weeks. But the scoreboard that I'm recommending would be just over $50,000. So because of the amount of money involved, because of the implications, I didn't want to, and Dr. Senamora didn't want to just move forward with this. We want to make sure that there's consensus to make this change to the scope of work.
John, I think it's important for the board to understand where the funding would come from.
Sure, absolutely. So the capital project, you know, has additional resources. We just funded it with another $50,000 from the roof project. So we do have the ability to fund it. And there's, you know, we've talked about some of the air conditioning projects district-wide that we're looking at augmenting with those monies and everything else. But it's, you know, for the amount of money that we just credited, it would be an offset for that. You know, one of the nice things about doing things through capital is one to the district is a third, but it's over 15 years. So the net impact on an annual basis is about $3,500, of which we get $2,300 back in building aid. Where this district is qualified for 67% building aid. So doing it during a capital project is certainly the most cost-effective way.
So this is
of doing
bond.
it.
This is bond money. This is not like
100%.
general fund money that would go towards educational.
No.
And the bond money can't be used towards the educational items. It has to be towards projects that
Were approved by the community back in 2022, correct? And the pool was obviously approved, so this would be an additional cost to that submitted to the state for building aid, like the renovation itself is as well.
So to take this money to use for the scoreboard, does a different project take a hit?
So we have two last projects that are going out to bid. We're actually going to be opening them in the next 2 weeks. That's the Pearl Electric and also third phase of the high school roof. So we have over $8 million in the capital fund reserve in the holding account. I backed out the amount of money that I think we're going to need, which still leaves us with over $6 million wiggle room. So all projects after those two projects are awarded will have been completed.
Could you explain the second phase we're making money back on? And now we have a third phase to the roof.
Yeah, building aid, you're talking about the building aid component of it?
Before we got money back for the roof, so what?
So in different projects, there's different unknowns. When we open up a roof, we don't know what we're going to see for a roof deck. So the architect built in an allowance in case we found some unforeseen. We didn't need it. Everything we did with the roof project met expectations, or the contractor was willing to, you know, to do right by the district and actually do the work without additional charges. And there was a lot of that. But it's a benefit to the district. As far as the building aid is concerned, qualified projects that have been approved by the state, or I should say approved by the community, submitted to the state with an approved set of plans, qualify for building aid. So for every project that we do that qualifies for building aid, we get 2/3 of a dollar back, 67 cents.
Right.
So.
Right, so I'm just curious about getting the $50,000. That's a win-win.
Yep.
So
It goes in a bucket.
the third, right, but the
phase 3 is what? We have to put out 60,000 for the roof? What exactly
No,
is it?
phase
Is
three.
it- Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
Phase three is going out to bid right now. We're going to award that. Once that's awarded, we have set aside the original estimates for that project. It's not
So
impacting
it's not gonna-
surplus
okay.
at all.
Gotcha.
Not at all, thank
And
you.
one more thing, the scoreboard, didn't the Connecticut Swim Club fundraise to get that scoreboard?
The original one. The one that
Right,
was
so
in there.
what are we doing with that? Because, I mean, it was good for the time, I mean,
The board donated that back to the swim club, and they've put it back to CI, which is where the swim club coaches from.
so they gave Connecticut Swim Club scoreboard
Back
that
to the swim club.
17 years ago. Does Connecticut Swim Club not practice at Connecticut?
Well, they absolutely do.
Okay, so my question is, they did the fundraiser, got that scoreboard,
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't, it was a manual scoreboard at the time, put that scoreboard up, what was it, 17 years ago, I think?
I don't know the date.
Yeah, it was about 17,
Okay.
16 or 17 years ago. So I don't understand, we're giving it to someone else versus utilizing it, because it still works, right?
It does work, but it doesn't have all the same features. So it didn't show places, it didn't show splits, it didn't show all the different features that this system does have. So there are definitely upgrades. Not to mention the company that made that old scoreboard, Daktronics, is out of scoreboards when it comes to pools. They don't make replacement parts, they don't do anything. So potentially, if that scoreboard broke in the coming years, we would have had to bear the full burden of the cost without building aid. So, not ideal. I understand your point, you know.
I don't know, if I have a TV that's gonna break in 2 years, I'm using it for 2 years, just saying.
And while I don't disagree with you, because I'm the same way. I've never turned over a car with less than 200 miles on it. I'm the same way.
My son helped get that scoreboard when he was on the swim team, so, you know what I mean, like, I'm still
I
not
hear your
getting
point.
it, it's,
My concern is the way I've watched the budgeting process year after year. I don't know if 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we're going to be able to increase the budget by $50,000 to replace the scoreboard. So having the opportunity now is something
and we've
for
priced out
discussion.
scoreboards, because 50,000 seems like a lot
Oh,
of
it's
money.
pricey. It's pricey because it comes with pace clocks. It comes with touch pads. It comes with a whole lot of other features that are attached to it, unfortunately. It's pricey, for sure.
So now we have the one that's too small, that we're,
That I
I
am
guess
saying is not
it's
to scale
not
of the
to
space,
scale.
absolutely.
and of course, we paid for that as part of the project. Maybe this is a silly question, but what are we doing with that when it's done? Is there a way that we could not
give us a
sell it,
credit.
but they will give us credit?
Not a full credit because we're going to be using it for the next 6 to 8 weeks if we go with the scoreboard that I'm suggesting, and there's a reshelving. But they will give us a credit for the board.
And is it 50,000 after the credit is applied, or is it?
That's the full
going-
amount after everything, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm okay with getting the new scoreboard for the space.
I'm okay with it also.
I am as well. We just did all that work. It would be probably silly to have a mini scoreboard and a beautiful big new pool, so.
So I'll reach out to the contractor, and you'll see a change order probably on the October 7th meeting to increase the work at that point.
How much bigger is it? You said this one was 4x4x6. What is the new one?
The new one that I'm recommending, because it shows 3 lanes and 3 lanes, is 16 feet wide by almost 6 feet. So it's 3 times the size. Numbers on the lanes, the timing is going to go from 5 inches to 10 inches. So while you can clearly see the 5-inch, the scoreboard that's up there now from the middle of the bleachers, if you're all the way on the far side, the 5 inches is definitely difficult to see. So it's double the size in that respect.
How much? I'm sorry. One more
That's
quick
okay.
question.
No, it's okay.
Just for price comparison, the one that's 4x4x6. How much did that cost us? Oh, because
It was embedded other
Oh,
projects.
so the one I see what you're saying. It was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
thank you very much.
Mr. Ibrahim. Would you like to talk about today's assembly?
So, in addition to today's assembly, I do have a couple updates that I've been thinking about. So, firstly, the first time I heard about it here. The new Suffolk Beacon, the classes that are offered at the high school, particularly English 101 and English 102, through English 12 Honors. I'm in that, and so far it's a great class. I think it's a really great opportunity, and it's what I didn't know until the start of the school year. It's 6 credits because it's English 101 and 102. So I just think it's a really great thing. I don't know too much about the other ones because I know there are some other ones. But yeah, I just want to say I think that's really great. Aside from that, we had our first football game. It was great. We won by a lot. The energy was definitely there. Everybody was in good spirits. I know with the whole T-Bird, Thunderbird dilemma, it's kind of been a lot of split and stuff like that. But it was nice to see everybody was still in high spirits. Everybody was there repping Connecticut. So that was nice. The speaker was great. I had the opportunity to go in so the assembly was 7th period. I had the opportunity to go in 6th period along with a couple dozen other students and talk to him and speak with him, and he did some, bonding leadership exercises with us, and that was really great. And then when he spoke with a lot of conviction, very engaging speaker. The big thing that he talked about was being all in, which I think is a really great message to send to anybody, but particularly students where you're in this time where you're kind of deciding what you want to do, maybe moving to that next phase of your life for the upperclassmen. Getting that message of go all in, give it all you got is definitely a good thing to hear, very motivational. And I enjoyed the speaker a lot.
Thank you. I think the speaker was amazing. The kids were super engaged. They were all in listening to him. He had a very positive message, so it was great. The football game, I love football games. I think they're amazing. I think we have to remind our children to remember that we are still in a public place and to act appropriately, even in the birdcage. I know sometimes emotions can get high. Sayings could get out of control, so we have to remember to rein it in and have great sportsmanship. So I love that the birdcage was full. I actually wasn't here this weekend, but I saw pictures and it was great. And we just have to remember to keep good sportsmanship amongst ourselves. Board of Ed topics. We have the OPMS parking lot. Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes, I wanted to just get an update because we had received a concern about the basketball hoops being in the way of parking spots and being a hazard. So I don't know if you can address, I know you were just up here. I know you got to leave, or maybe if you can address just what are we doing about that? Has that been looked into? Because that's a concern of mine too.
So in respect to the basketball hoops, they don't impede the parking. The parking spots are still plenty long enough for anything but an extra large SUV to park in. So the parking spots are no different. That said, they're not functional. They've been that way for as long as I've been here and probably for a decade longer, if not more. I've spoken with the building administration and Pete Mallory. Pete Mallory actually was helpful in getting me a quote from a approved contractor. And now I have to see whether or not we have the capacity from a grounds crew to put them in. It involves a large concrete base, patching the asphalt, removing the other ones and everything else. So we're getting prices together for that. Once we see what the numbers are, we'll make a determination if it's something that can be done sooner than later, or does it have to be included in next year's budget?
When you say they're not useful, they are not used at all by any kids that come on off the street play some basketball.
I have never seen them used. And in all, with all the capital projects we've done over the years, the number of times I'm here on a Saturday and Sunday is quite extensive. I've never seen them used.
But that's because they're not allowed to get on school property when school is closed. So that's number one, from what I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Number two, they used to play it all the time after lunch and stuff. If it's not allowed, and how do you play with that thing? Those things.
Okay. So it's not in that part of the parking lot. It's up against the tennis. But you're not there's no way the two are getting hit. I mean, unless you're horsing around, they're not part of the field of play. I don't know if,
Mr. Allen, if I heard you, we're looking at both removing them from the parking lot, but also installing one or two new ones
Right,
in the
in the
asphalt
asphalt
area
behind the
adjacent
fence.
adjacent to tennis court, similar to the way I believe
It's set up at
RMS is set up. That's what's being
100%
looked at.
correct. Yeah, and I can't say for basketball, but I can tell you for tennis courts, our tennis courts get used constantly, and that's behind the fence. So I've never seen anybody chased away from a parking lot. Whether that's happening, I don't know. I haven't seen it. But if we do,
I understand there are legal issues. I definitely understand there are legal, if someone gets hurt. I mean, I've seen it at the elementary level. I know years ago, granted I'm old, long in the tooth, but they used to use those all the time. Weekends, and by the way, like, I don't want to say recess, so it's not recess, but after lunch, like whatever leftover time they had, girls and guys would go out there and play, so.
and to that point, I think that's what we're going back to, because if you look at all of our elementary schools, there are ways. We don't have lock gates going on to any of the elementary schools. So if the community comes onto those spaces, they can use it. We're looking at creating that for OBMS because it doesn't exist the way it is right now. So,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. We have Connecticut High School cafeteria, Mr. Grosso.
Sorry, it was late add on here. I just wanted to give a quick little shout out to, I believe it was Miss Neckin when I asked today, had the idea of, in light of the cell phone ban, which nobody is thrilled about, putting like the giant Connect 4 games we have and stuff in so they can be played during lunch instead of just walking around and policing and being like, get off your phone, like. And from my understanding, because I asked today, they're really being used a lot during these lunch periods. The games are being played, everyone's kind of together, and I thought it was a really nice, like, quick on our feet idea to use what we had to make the best of, like, not the best situation. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to that idea. I thought it was really awesome to see.
Yeah, so when Melissa told me about it, I actually asked my son. I said, do you use these during lunch? He's like, oh yeah, there's cornhole outside, there's spike ball, there's a ping pong table. So they actually are trying to keep the kids entertained during lunch, which is great. And it has them playing with each other, so they're socializing. Fantastic. Good job to the high school.
So I do have a question about it. I know I had brought up, I think 2 meetings ago, where when I was a kid, if there was an issue, you didn't go to an administrator's office to make a phone call. There are kids that are crying, kids that don't want to do that. But we had a bank of payphones, and they were talking about finding an avenue where they could put a phone in or whatever, where a kid, if they need be, call their mom or their dad, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you said that they were talking about looking for that.
Well, so two things. One, we've added or been adding an extra phone specific for student use in every main office. And the other thing is,
But not in the main office. That's the point. Kids aren't going to want to go in there if they're crying or if they're, you see what I'm saying? Like, the whole point was to escape that and speak privately. And main office is not speaking privately.
In the high school, they can go to the wellness room, and they can speak privately in the wellness room. They're always welcome there. You can cry there, you can scream there, you can do it all. You come into the office if you want a private phone call. This room, sorry.
Just quick to Sarah's point, I do want to say I have also similarly at times heard that the wellness suite can be a little bit packed and busy. Busy is a good word, busy. And I can see where you're saying maybe if somebody was like visibly upset, they might not want to walk into a room of all of their peers and be like, out of my way, I want to use the phone, I'm crying. So to that point, I do want to say I've heard similar. I'm not saying I've heard like it's 24/7, but I have heard there's times where it is like almost intimidating to go into there because it's a bit busy, which I'm glad it's being utilized, but I don't know if it's the perfect solution to what we're talking about right now.
I just wanted to say I do really like that idea of like a room full, like where in that scenario where you could do that. I find it though difficult to believe that teachers would be like cool with that, because a lot of them kind of like, and some are very nice and understanding, and they're like, yeah, you need to go. Some are a little bit less so, and so it's.
Say I'm going to call. Just so you know, I didn't, I'm talking about me specifically. Excuse me, I have to go and call my dad or my mom crying. We said we had to go to the bathroom, and we went and used the phone. I mean, terrible, I get it. But they they have to have an avenue to speak with mom or dad. This is my only point. I hear you say.
Yeah.
Well, you regardless of age, you do get into a supervision issue. If a student of any age is that upset, we have school counselors, the social workers. So we have.
Needs to be able to call mom and dad, and your guardian.
You gotta hit your button.
Does anybody have any other topics?
Yeah, I have a few other things I wanted to just bring up. I had actually, and I know we had talked about this previously, the senior tax exemption, and I wanted to bring that up again, even though I know that, we're not in that, necessarily in that conversation yet, but I did, at our civics meeting, hear from, I like to call him a senior, advocate, because he's really, really knowledgeable, a gentleman that spoke about the senior taxes and raising the, we had that vote, which we didn't have a lot of information last year, whenever it was that the tax assessor came. It was kind of terrible. We didn't have enough to really go on, but I just want to maybe a timeline when that will be addressed, because I want to make sure that our seniors are being taken care of if they, depending on their income. I don't want them getting hit hard. It's tough. It's tough on these people. What is our timeline looking at? When will we be addressing that we can focus on that again, and now this time do the right thing, essentially?
So last year, I believe the deadline was March 1st for us to vote and to actually communicate with the town assessor's office. So, and I believe we started the presentations at the first meeting in January. We don't have to wait that long. We can certainly bring it up for discussion earlier, but that's the timeline. March, it would be more of the drop dead date.
Yeah, so the assessor that is looking through everything, because we wanted numbers to see how it would affect us financially as a district. I believe she said by the end of October, she would have some type of report sent over to you.
Yeah, I would like to, for me, I can't speak for anybody else, I'd like to get this addressed as soon as we can, because the sooner we can help them, the better it is. So yeah, I'm for moving this to a point where we can take care of that.
Okay, I'll get that going.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I would actually like to speak to that before March.
Yeah, and I had a few other things. I don't know if anybody else has anything else. I did want to ask, which I know we had a speaker bring up that we had the flags at half-staff, which thank you for that, because I had asked about that, and thank you for taking care of that. But I did have a quick question about at night. I don't drive around at night to all the buildings, so I wouldn't know, but do we, if we wanted to, I know we tend to take them in on the weekends at night, the American flags, but if we wanted to leave them up, does the district have the proper lighting? You have to have the proper lighting on the American flag at night. Do we have that on our buildings?
Mr. Allen, if you could just.
I'm sorry, I know you have to take care of the pool, I'm sorry.
We do have it in isolated examples, but not district-wide, not at all. And to run an electrical wire out there, once again, if it's something that we want to explore, I can certainly work up prices. So I hate saying the solar lights don't really work effectively. The one that we installed last year has already been problematic, and we were hoping to be able to leave the flags on the athletic fields because of the distance to take them down. At the end of the day, nobody thinks about it, so I was concerned about leaving a light on them, and we've already had problems multiple times with that. So we can look at options. That's something we can certainly price out and try, and if it doesn't work, we'll revisit and go again. But I can certainly work up numbers for all that.
Yeah, before decisions, I'd like to, I'd like to look at numbers, just so I know what we're working with,
100%.
what we have.
Yep.
That's for me, I would like that. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll start putting it together in the next couple of weeks.
And then, of course, speaking of the flags and Charlie Kirk and everything that happened, a lot of our students they were affected by this, from what I understand, this absolute tragedy. I don't know, I don't know what's going to happen in time, 10 years, how this, we're going to look back on this, because this was pretty bad. Was it addressed in school? How is the school handling this? Because there was some things out there on social media land that kids saw, which are pretty bad. And I don't know if it's been, it happened right before 9/11. I know we had 9/11 the next day, and we had all that, but was it addressed? Is this going to be a discussion? Because from what I understand, a lot of students listen to him. They know, everybody knew it happened, and it could have been traumatizing for some of our students. Is the district doing anything for this?
Anytime a student experiences anything that could be traumatic to them, there's avenues of assistance, okay? Again, I mentioned earlier, whether it's our social workers, our guidance counselors, for this particular tragic situation, there wasn't any kind of instructional intervention, but if any student is feeling anything over this, or, it could be some other situation that has happened or will happen in the future, unfortunately, of a violent nature, or something, anything that upsets them. At every level, every school, we have multiple methods of providing assistance to a student, and if any family needs help as well.
Okay, thank you. And if nobody has anything else, I do have one last thing I'd like to read. It's something before I read it, I'd like to preface it with, I really wish I would have never had to do this, and I'm hoping this is the last time I need to address this situation that has gone on amongst this board. So I would just like a few minutes to read my thoughts. What many community members may not know is that I live with a documented hearing disability. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, I am legally entitled to reasonable accommodation so I can fully participate. For me, that means sitting in a strategic location where I can try to manage multiple voices, background noise. Not a preference, it's a necessity. On August 28th, just before the mascot meeting, 3 trustees, April, Marisol, Melissa, did not respect that. Their actions amounted to bullying and harassment, and when I asked for an investigation, the board majority not only denied the request, but on September 2nd, all 3 screamed at me simultaneously to justify what they had done. And their justification was a New York Post article that simply confirmed what I had already said publicly, that I believe the board majority engaged in corruption through secret settlement talks. Starting in April, taxpayer money, hundreds and thousands, went towards legal discussions between the board president, superintendent, legal counsel, state education department, and emails further show that both the president and vice president of the board supported a settlement conference despite warnings from a former trustee that such talks were illegal without public knowledge, and despite having any clue or idea if this is what the community actually even wanted. Still, by June 25th, over $2,500 that I know about had already been spent during drafting a hidden settlement agreement. Meanwhile, during this time, the public was asked to send emails, complete surveys on whether to continue fighting for the mascot, unaware that their money was already being used to draft a deal with Albany. This violated prior votes, as well as a resolution that was actually passed by the board in March of 2023 that outlined the process if a mascot change were required. Then at the July 1st meeting, the board president admitted they were prepared to vote on June 30th to approve the settlement before the community even knew it existed. Further validating my belief that they acted in a corrupt manner, when I asked last week for the details of some conversations between the board president and legal counsel, I was met with harsh criticism just for simply asking. I also have yet to receive any answers to those questions. And now this bullying is hindering my ability to actually do what I was elected to do, oversee the money, taxpayer money, your money, that the district is spending. Sarah was the only board member who respected my inquiries and the positions we hold as board members to do our due diligence. And this is why I call their actions corrupt, not as human beings, but as board members, who ignored the process, the board's own resolution, and community voices. Honestly, if I'm asked 6 months, a year, 10 years from now, if I believe these dealings were corrupt with the state, my answer will still be a yes. So I think it's time for us to move on from that. So what happened on August 28th, the reason why I bring that up, it was directly connected to this issue. The retaliation I experienced was the result of me speaking out. against this injustice done to our students, staff, and stakeholders. Furthering their retaliation during the September 2nd meeting, comments were made dismissing my disability, including, "If I couldn't see, would you accommodate me?" or "Don't use your disability as a crutch." Because the three of them were yelling at me at the same time, I could not actually clearly hear everything that was said, but these insults trying to use my disability against me were unmistakable. Why does no one actually know about this? Because it was done in executive, hidden behind executive rules. But I will tell you, executive session is intended for sensitive matters involving student, staff, contracts, legal advice. It's not for targeting trustees, not for harassment or using one's disability against them, just simply because you disagree with them. I do want to thank Sarah for showing compassion and trying to understand what was happening during that time. Even though I did openly support your opponent during the election, you were the only one who stepped up in that moment, so thank you. The actions of the other three trustees were unacceptable and unprofessional, undermined public trust, and distract from the board's true responsibility, serving students in the community. I will continue to speak the truth about how public money is spent and how decisions are made. However, while I will not allow myself to be silenced, I also will not sit through those attacks again. If they occur again, whether it's in the retreat or a meeting, I will remove myself from the room, and I will no longer take it. I'm also letting you know that ADA complaints were already filed with the U.S. Department of Education, Office of Civil Rights, and the New York State Division of Human Rights. It's just because you cannot see my disability does not mean it doesn't exist. Please do better. I want to put this to bed now.
Due to the fact that I am a professional, I will not do the he said, she said moment here. All I would like the public to know is that every board member is equal. Every one of us gets the same information. None of us have more rights than any other one on the board. So all information, all, is given to us equally. I don't have to ask any one member for any information because they're not the ones who would give it to me. I would ask administration or our district clerk. I just would like to make that clear. All information is, if we are asked, given to us. Equally, anyone can have it. As for our financial situation, hundreds of thousands of dollars, I just have to say, obviously, were not used towards this. Thank you.
So I just want to thank you for your side, your interpretation of the events. It was already determined that your disability was not ignored because there was no reasonable accommodation asked for prior. But here we are reliving more of your truth. That is your truth, but that is not the truth. I'm also not going to play the he said, she said game. There was no screaming back and forth. There were people expressing their opinions of the event one at a time, but that is neither here or there. And I also answered your email. I said a simple search would have brought up all the legal documents that you were requesting. So also your truth, but not the truth.
It's like talking on deaf ears at this point that I'm going to say this, but like I very particularly remember waiting for everybody, going last, actually, and like not even raising my voice that day because I said, and I will say again, I would never intentionally or knowingly discriminate against any disability, visible or not, and I've been very open with the public, and the public, it was made public for me about some invisible disabilities that exist within my life, and I said that day. I will say it again, never was I annoyed, admittedly, when I walked in that day, because it all felt very backhanded, and there was a lot of emotions in that room, and I did not yell, and I simply said, are we starting already? And then you sat in the seat and said, I literally was like, whatever, and sat down in what normally would have been our flipped seats. It's like not the end of the world, but I didn't like attack you and tell you to get out of my chair and move, and I'm just not that person. I wouldn't bully or pick on or intentionally hurt somebody over a disability, and it is really, like, that really upsets me to just say that with such confidence when I am so positive that day. I did not scream down there. I didn't point a finger. I was very particular with my words too, but I know that like right now I'm saying this and there is a group of people who will just, it's gonna, like, three sides to every story, right? Yours, mine, the truth. And at the end of the day, I know my truth. I would never do that, and I believe that day, and I will say it again right here in public. If you felt like I was ignoring a disability of yours, that I was prior to that unaware the seating arrangement made a difference, right? This all came up that day. I would apologize for that, but like I did not knowingly come into any room and be like, oh, this seems like a fun thing to do today. And I said that downstairs. I'll say it again. I would never do that. That part upsets me. The corruption thing, I'm just like so exhausted of. I'm not even going there anymore. But like that part really, really bothers me because I would never do that to you. I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. So
I just want to clarify, and I appreciate everybody said their piece, but everything you said, I don't think any of it justifies saying, throwing in my face, what if I couldn't see, would you accommodate me? And don't use your disability as a crutch. That was not at the August 28th meeting, that was at the next meeting. So, but I want to put this to bed now. I filed the complaints, I want to put this to bed, I want to move on, okay? And yeah, you don't see it. I don't speak different, nobody would have a clue, because I make do with it, and I'm fine with that, I've always been fine with that. I want to put this to rest now. I want to put it to bed.
I just feel the need to say one more thing, that I don't care which board you're on or not everybody gets along. And we don't have to. We're for here, all of us, for the greater good of our district. We're not here to be friends. We're not here to be enemies. We're here to do board business, and that's what we're here for. So I'd like to keep us on track with that. We are here for board business.
And moving on. Does anybody else have any more board topics? Does anybody in the public want to speak? Ed? I will now open the floor for the second open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with Policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Ed, number one. Oh.
Okay. Deja vu. I'm going to speak on a subject that I have spoken before. I saw we're having some of our students going to Downey Park, someplace down the line. Times have changed. Roads have changed. When I started driving, there was no seat belts. There was no directional signals. I stuck my hand out the window. We have different conditions out there. I'm not saying we have safety belts or seat belts on our delivery buses locally. When we take our students out of state on coach buses, they are equipped with seat belts. And I have asked in the past that we come up a policy when we go on these trips. There were some students severely injured on Long Island when a bus went off the road. There was a case where a religious group where we're going up or coming down from upstate, the bus went off the road. I'm not saying it was mechanical trouble or it was a driver distraction, but these things happen. I know our mechanical people do a fantastic job, they check brakes, they check tire conditions, and these are one of the factors why large vehicles sometimes have problems. Braking in a large vehicle is a totally different story than you driving your car. I drove a truck before you had to have a CDL license. You planned your trip, you planned your roads, you planned your stops, and you prayed that everything worked out well. What I'm asking is that we come up with a policy when we bring the kids on coach buses out of the state, we use seatbelts. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Come up with a decision. If you want to say yes, say yes. You want to say no, it's yours.
I'm going to say yes,
God bless you.
because it's now a regulation. They heard you. So, yeah, occupants with the
It's
school.
actually a law now.
If you leave a vehicle, your chances are not good. If you're in the vehicle, okay, you may have some problems. But if you leave the vehicle, you wind up going out a window, God help you, it's all over.
You're correct, thank you. Number 2. Number 1, reversed.
It's good to hear that there are avenues in place for kids that might be, having difficult times with things that are going on, outside their own little world. But, more often than not, I would imagine that they don't tend to go that route. Some may, but I imagine more probably don't, and would tend to either talk to their friends or, even worse, withdraw within, which is the worst case scenario. So I'm wondering if there could be some sort of peer mentor program put in place, because their first reaction is going to be to go to their friends. So, it may be something worth looking at, And also, hearing loss, to those that don't suffer from it, is the most misunderstood disability.
Thank you. We'll definitely look into the peer mentoring.
Yeah, I wanted to let him know that the anti-bullying club actually were coming up with ideas for that about the peer mentoring. We actually have peer mentoring right now with gen ed kids and special ed kids, but to see it move over to gen ed and gen ed. We also, and maybe Christina, you can speak on this, we also have the program where all ninth grade get paired up with a social worker, or a mentor, which is not a peer, but that they are, meet with them once a week, once a month. If they do need support, they know it right away. I think it's actually a great program because, like you said, many kids don't realize they can go to someone. But because of the program that's in place in the high school, as soon as they get there, they are paired up with this person and they find out the different avenues that they have.
It's probably more difficult in the younger grades, I would imagine, though,
Thank you. Anybody else? Can I call for a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
All in favor? Aye. Have a good night, everybody. Happy Rosh Hashanah to everybody celebrating.